My daughter texted me, "Don't come to my wedding, just watch the live stream." But what I did next shocked everyone. Before I share this story, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. It helps me connect with all of you amazing viewers. Here's what happened. I'm Rebecca Martinez, 58 years old, and I've been living in Tucson, Arizona for the past 2 decades. Last Tuesday morning changed everything. Sophia sent me a message, no phone call, just a cold text. I was sipping my morning coffee, watching hummingbirds at the feeder outside my kitchen window when my phone buzzed. The message read like a business memo, not something from my own child. "Rebecca," it started. Not mom, not mama, just my name. Like I was some stranger. She explained that after discussing things with her fiancé David and his wealthy family from Scottsdale, they decided to keep the wedding ultra exclusive. I wasn't invited to attend in person. Instead, I could watch via live stream like some distant relative. David's mother is very particular about the atmosphere. She wrote, she wants everything perfect and intimate. "You'll love the live stream though. It's almost like being there." LOL. I stared at those words until they blurred. My untouched coffee grew cold as something inside me cracked. Not loudly, but like ice breaking on a frozen lake. The fracture was silent, but complete. My response was simple. Understood. Have a wonderful day. Those 5 words carried more power than any argument ever could. I didn't scream or beg. I simply closed my phone, got dressed, and drove to work like any other Tuesday. But it wasn't ordinary. That was the day I realized I'd become invisible to the person I'd sacrificed everything for. The drive through downtown Tucson was eerily quiet. October mornings here still carry summer's warmth, but I felt frozen inside. One question echoed in my mind. How did we reach this point? I've worked at Henderson and Associates for 15 years. It's not glamorous, but it provided stability after Carlos died. I remember those early widow days sitting at this same kitchen table, surrounded by medical bills and insurance forms, trying to figure out how to keep Miguel in his soccer league while paying for Sophia's graduate school applications. I took evening shifts. I skipped every vacation. I told myself my time would come later. It never did. Every bonus, every tax refund went to their dreams. When Sophia changed majors twice, adding 2 extra years to college, I paid. When she moved to Portland for a job that lasted 6 months, I covered her moving expenses twice. When she had her quarter-life crisis at 28 and needed therapy, I flew up there and spent 3 weeks helping her find the right counselor. When Miguel needed surgery for his broken ankle, I took unpaid leave and maxed out credit cards. I never calculated the cost because that's what mothers do. But that text message made me feel like a forgotten appliance, useful when needed, stored away when not. At work, my supervisor, Mrs. Chen, noticed something was off. She's this tiny powerhouse who remembers everyone's birthday and always brings extra lunch to share. "Rebecca, you seem different today," she said, placing homemade spring rolls on my desk. Around noon, my phone exploded with notifications. Sophia calling, texting frantically. "Mom, please answer. We need to talk. This is getting ridiculous." I didn't respond to any of them. Maybe it was time to stop being available whenever they snapped their fingers. That afternoon, I made a decision that would change everything. After work, instead of heading home, I drove to Desert Community Bank. The branch manager, Patricia Williams, knew me well. She'd helped me navigate finances after Carlos's death and set up college funds for both kids. "Mrs. Martinez," she greeted me warmly. "What can I help you with today?" I sat across from her desk, my voice surprisingly steady. "I need to stop a wire transfer." She pulled up my account, her fingers dancing across the keyboard. "The one going to Enchanted Events in Scottsdale." "Yes," I replied, folding my hands in my lap. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. "There might be penalties depending on timing." "May I ask why you're canceling?" "Plans have changed," I said simply. She studied her screen, then looked at me with gentle eyes. You're fortunate it's still processing. I can stop it before it goes through. She paused. This is a substantial amount, though. $52,000. Are you absolutely certain? I nodded once. It's completely certain. That wire represented my second major contribution to Sophia's dream wedding. I'd already sent $31,000 for the initial deposits. This would have brought my total investment to $83,000 for a wedding, where I wasn't even welcome as a guest. I signed the cancellation paperwork without hesitation and walked back into the Arizona sunshine, feeling lighter than I had in years. By evening, my phone was buzzing nonstop. 14 missed calls from Sophia, 5 from Miguel. One voicemail simply said, "Mom, please don't do this to her." I turned off my phone entirely. In my kitchen, I opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving since last Christmas, originally meant for Sophia's engagement celebration. That never happened, because David's family had already planned something more appropriate. Around 10, my doorbell rang. Miguel stood there, still in his work uniform from the auto shop, looking exhausted and frustrated. "Mom," he said, pushing past me into the living room. "Why aren't you answering your phone? Sophia's having a complete meltdown." I closed the door quietly. "Good evening, son." He didn't sit down, just paced like a caged animal. "She says you're sabotaging her wedding, that you're being vindictive and selfish." I let out a dry laugh. Selfish for not attending a wedding I was uninvited to. His shifted as the truth hit him. "Wait, she uninvited you?" David's family finds my presence problematic," I explained calmly. "Apparently, I don't fit their vision." Miguel's expression changed completely. "Mom, I had no idea. She told me you were just being difficult about the arrangements." "I was paying for those arrangements," I said, taking a sip of wine. Already gave $31,000, was about to send $52,000 more. He froze. "You were sending more money?" "That much was," I emphasized. "Not anymore." His voice rose in panic. "Mom, they're counting on that money." "It's not my concern anymore," I replied calmly. "I'm not funding a party I'm banned from attending." "But she's your daughter," he protested. "And I'm her mother," I said firmly. A mother who was told to stay home and watch her child's wedding through a computer screen like some distant acquaintance. Miguel rubbed his face in frustration. "Why do you always make everything about yourself?" Those words hit like a physical blow. I stood up, my voice quiet but steely. "Get out of my house." His eyes widened. "What? You heard me? Leave." He stood frozen for a moment, then wordlessly walked out. The door clicked shut, and for the first time in years, I felt something I'd forgotten existed: freedom. The next morning, I woke before dawn feeling more rested than I had in months. When I finally turned my phone back on, it nearly vibrated off the nightstand. 57 missed calls, 23 unread messages, all from Sophia. They started desperate. "Mom, please call me back. We need to fix this." Then became frantic. The venue called, payment didn't go through. They're threatening to cancel everything. Finally turned accusatory. David's family is furious. They said this proves they were right about you all along. At 4:17 a.m., she'd sent, "I don't understand why you're destroying my happiness." I read every message while drinking my coffee, then deleted them all. These days, I wake up and don't immediately think about who needs something from me. I joined a pottery class at the community center on Saturdays. I have dinner with colleagues who ask about my day, not my checkbook. I've learned something I wish I'd understood decades ago. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all, especially when that nothing is the sound of choosing yourself for once. If this resonated with you, like and subscribe for more stories about finding strength.